Today on the program, we've got Al Smith, the president and CEO of the Fresno Chamber of Commerce. Stay tuned. We're right back in a moment. And hello again, everyone. I'm John Mallos. Glad to have you along on this Tuesday morning. We're live from the showroom floor here at Ventura TV on East Ventura Avenue in Fresno. This is Connect with Me. That is exactly right, on Me TV Fresno. And you can watch us on Comcast Channel 187, which you're doing right now, and 43.6. Today's program, we're going to focus on business. And we are talking to Al Smith. He is the president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. But first, we're going to tell you about how to contact us. We want you to connect with us. I want to connect with you. Connect with me. That's why this program, of course, is named Connect with Me. We're going to talk about Facebook and then Twitter. And you can call 1-559-265-4331, or you can dial 800-717-1302 if you are out of the area code. You're watching us live right now. We're going to have the email and, of course, the Ustream up shortly. It's not up and running right now. But getting back to our guest, a very special guest here on Connect with Me this morning, he is Al Smith. He's a broadcaster, a long-time broadcaster. You probably know him from KMJ. In fact, he still does little spots on KMJ. I hear his voice when I'm in the car, and I have the radio tuned into KMJ. 47 years Al Smith has been in broadcasting. That's nearly as long as I've been alive. That's amazing that he's been in that position for so many years. He ran KMJ. He was the market manager for 7 stations. He was there for 16 years. He decided at one point he was going to retire, and he was enjoying retirement. But then he got a chance to experiment with the Fresno Chamber of Commerce, and he was hired on as the head, the president, CEO on a temporary basis, and they liked him so much, they asked him to stay. And he liked them in return, and he decided, well, you know what? Retirement's kind of boring. I think I like this job. So we're going to talk to Al about business. Today is our focus is on business. It's Business Tuesday. So we'll talk about business in Fresno, Fresno County, business moving in, business moving out. What are some of the business areas that need improving? We're going to talk about all that and some city business as well. We'll talk about politics and much more right here on Connect with Me. You're watching us on Me TV Fresno, Comcast 187 and 43.6. And don't forget, if you're watching us live right now, you can catch the replay tonight on Comcast at 7:30. We're back with our special guest, Al Smith, in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified, ready steam equipped, high efficiency Frigidaire affinity place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Frigidaire laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
From the comic book to the TV screen,
Better let us handle this.
the dynamic duo comes to life on Me TV.
How right you are.
It's Batman,
B-A-T-M-A-N.
fighting foes with fearsome faces.
Oh, dear me, yes.
Batman, Saturdays at 7, 6 Central on Me TV.
Hooray for me!
Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.
Well, welcome back to Connect with Me. I'm John Mallos. Your focus today is on business. There's no question about it. It is Business Tuesday here on Connect with Me. We're going to put up that social media connection that we've got, Facebook and Twitter. One more time, and there it is up on your screen. You can also call us if you have a question for Al or myself. Hopefully for Al. 265-4331 is the number. And if you're out of the area code, 1-800-717-1302. The email and the Ustream is not up quite yet. We're trying to get the kinks out. We'll have it up very shortly. But welcome, Al Smith, to connect with me. You know, you're my first guest, legitimate guest.
Who was yesterday?
I forget. You know, when you get up there past 50, you know, you kind of lose your memory a little bit. So, no, Mark Sheeran and Gary Kokola were two of my guests yesterday. They were great. But outside of this little neighborhood that we live in here in Ventura TV, you're the first legitimate guest, and welcome. I appreciate your time.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure to be here, and I'm honored.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, I mentioned in the open you were in broadcasting 47 years. You still work part-time, I guess, at KMJ. I hear you on the air, so what's your status there?
Well, I retired, and, I always thought, like most of us who got into broadcasting early in our life, that we'd sort of carry us out feet first from a radio or TV station. You know, I mean, we didn't get into it for the money, although the money wasn't bad. We just loved that industry. I mean, you know, they used to always say, you're a radio. My wife was a radio widow, you know, and we would stay out and we'd work late at night. I mean, it was just a great world.
Where did you get started? What city?
Actually, I got started in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Was that where you were born there?
Well, I'm a Louisiana boy. My dad was a Methodist minister, so we moved a lot.
Okay.
And so every 2 years we were off somewhere. I think I've lived in maybe 25 cities in my life.
Wow.
And
wow.
And I didn't have a lot of money. My dad, I think his best year made $8,000 as a minister, but we always had the parsonage. The house was free. And so, you know, we didn't have a lot of money. And when I went off to college, my dad would send me $2 a week as an allowance. And heck, that's when I smoked. And I smoked 3 hours to $3 a week, you know. So I always had a job or something. And I really didn't have the huge social life that you would like to have at college, I guess. So I hung out a lot with another student who was a nighttime disc jockey at a jazz radio station, and I was a music major. I was going to be an actor and a musician, is where I wanted to spend the rest of my life. And so I used to just go hang out with him. And I thought, you know, when summertime came, back in those days, we all got summer jobs, which is different than today, of course. And so I thought, you know, they actually pay you to play your favorite records? I mean, how great is that? And so I started trying to knock on doors to get a job as a disc jockey. And nobody would hire me because you had to have experience. And I just by chance, I was walking back to my car after a guy told me no again. And my car was parked in front of a TV station. And so I figured, what's one more no today? So I walked in. I knew to ask for the program director. Guy came out, and he says, well, we're getting ready to audition somebody right in the back right now. Come on back, and I'll let you audition. And I went back there, and I think it was 19 years of age. And this is back before you had videotape and teleprompters. Everything was done in longhand on dowels. And so I auditioned for the guy, and he came back out and he says, here's what I'll do. I'll let you be a booth announcer. Now, they don't have booth announcers anymore, as you know.
Right.
But he said, I'll let you be a booth announcer, and you can do that for 20 hours a week, but you have to push camera the other 20 hours a week. Best offer I'd had all day, man. I was in, all of a sudden, showbiz.
Yeah.
And so that's when, it was 1957, and that's how I got into it. And I always found radio a lot more fun than television. It took too many people to make something happen. I mean, you know, you've got a cast of thousands behind the camera here. Radio, it's me and my microphone and sound effects and music. And so, you know, I stayed in television for a while, then moved into radio, then back into television. And so for 47 years, I bounced around, then got into management and ownership. And
now, 25 cities you lived in. How many stations have you worked?
Ooh, I have not done that research.
Okay.
But remember, part of the 25 was when I was growing up. My dad, as I say, we moved every 2 years or 3 years. My dad would go to conference to Methodist. He was a Methodist minister. When we go to his conference, annual conference every year, every second year we knew probably we were going somewhere else in the state of Louisiana.
And so you came on to KMJ when you came into Fresno. At what year was that?
I came here in '88.
Okay, and you immediately took over KMJ at that time?
Well, I was running two radio stations in San Bernardino, Riverside area, and then I overseed, whatever. I looked over our entire company, which we had 13 radio stations in 7 different markets, here, Portland, Denver, Honolulu, Omaha. And so we lost our manager here, and I came up to sort of fill in. And the more I came up, the more, while I looked for the replacement, and the more I came up here, the more I liked it. And I figured, let me get out of Southern California.
You fell in love with Fresno,
I fell in love with Fresno. I mean, there was a community here. You know, you could have, in Southern California, if you want to go to the 7-Eleven store, you got to get on the freeway.
Why did you retire?
I hated CBS. How's
that?
Okay.
Well, you know what? You can't get too much more blunt than that.
No, that's true. I mean, CBS put a whole different spin on why we got into this business. I mean, it was always a mom and pop thing. We had a great time. And when CBS bought our radio stations, which they bought a ton of them across the country, you were just a big corporation. And some guy in New York who thought there was not a good idea outside of the city limits of New York said, look, just open the doors and shut the doors and be quiet. We'll tell you what to do. And
really?
I figured, that's not why I got into this business. And I made it's one other point. I was getting to be 64, 65. My wife kept asking me, are you going to retire? What are you going to do when you retire? You know, I'm thinking, you know, I don't play golf. I don't do woodwork. I'm not the gardener. I figured I'll just die probably in the radio business. And I kept thinking, okay, well, what am I going to do? And all of a sudden it dawned on me, hey, I'm sitting here waiting to die. I'm now 65, waiting to die. That's not an attitude.
No.
So one night I woke up and I said, I'm not going to die until I'm 85. I've made that decision.
Okay.
And as soon as I said that, I realized, okay, 65, 80, 20 years, that's a whole career. So there was a whole new life out there when I made that decision. I'm not going to die until I'm 85. And maybe 84, I might want to rethink about that a little bit.
Right.
So it's been a real mental adjustment that moved me forward to continue to stay active.
Yeah, to get into the chamber.
Well, I didn't know that's where I was going, but yes.
Right, but it all worked out. And we're going to talk about that and talk about business, because today is our business focus, of course, Business Tuesday. We're going to continue our conversation with Al Smith, a great guy. He's the president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. I've never heard one person say anything negative about Al.
You haven't talked to my wife, obviously.
Okay, well, we don't want to. Anyway, we're back with more with Connect with Me on MeTV and Al Smith in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high-efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since '81, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
From the pages of history and the untamed prairies of a young nation comes one of television's and America's most memorable folk heroes.
Was a man, just a big man.
Well, you're Daniel Boone.
Yep. Fess Parker stars as the legendary Daniel Boone, with Ed Ames as his trusty sidekick, Mingo.
Pleasure indeed.
A Kentuckian named Daniel Boone. That's me.
Watch Daniel Boone weekday mornings at 9, 8 Central on MeTV.
Welcome back to Connect with Me. I'm John Mallows. Hey, we've got to get some phone calls in here for Al Smith. The number is 559-265-4331 and 1-800-717-1302 if you want to ask Al a question. So you took over the chamber, Al, in 2000...
I retired in 2004, and then in 2005 they asked me, they lost their CEO, and asked me to come just babysit for about 4 months.
Right.
While they did the old proverbial nationwide search.
And I don't want to get into the past with the chamber because there were some problems with but you really brought it up to snuff, so to speak. You brought the respectability back to the chamber, I think.
Well, I appreciate that, and I really don't know how to compare. I mean, they've had some great leaders over at the chamber.
Right.
They've done a lot of great work over the years. The chamber started in 1885.
Yeah,
and it's been a big player in this community for a zillion years. So
let's talk about business and what's going on in Fresno. What's the business climate like now? Is it friendly to open up your own business in Fresno? And the current businesses that are here, like Ventura TV, give us a status quo or a status report.
Well, it depends on where you have to. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish, I think, whether it's friendly or not.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I think the state is not friendly.
Okay.
to do business in the state of California is just probably one of the world's worst places to do it. And as a result of that, a lot of businesses are fleeing here. And the legislature just has never...
Is it the tax? Too much tax?
Taxes, regulatory reform, hoops you have to jump through to get things done, environmental problems. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many obstacles. And you know, you've got, 140 legislators up there that just don't... And you just wonder, what world do you live in? You know, don't you understand where jobs come from, where prosperity comes from, where the economic health of a community comes from? And it doesn't come from giving no disrespect to the government employee, but that does not generate the economy. Private sector generates the economy. You know, the people who work here are the people who generate this economy.
So you're saying private sector like Ventura TV and other businesses, that's what drives the economy?
They are the job makers of our world. They always have been in the United States. And we just seem to be drifting away from that from a government standpoint. So back to the state, I don't think the state is very friendly. And I think if you did a survey of most businesses, they would concur. I do think that we have now a pretty friendly business city council and mayor.
They understand.
Well, and they come out of the community. They've had experience in the private sector. You know, it used to be, we used to joke the best job our elected officials ever had was when they were a city council person, and that's when they were making $35,000 a year. And, you know, if you're going to run $1 billion budget and you're going to hire $35,000 a year people to do that, and that's their best job they've had, you wonder what their worst job was. So today, I think we have more professionals. We have more educated people at the city council level. I think they get...
And you don't have the bickering that we used to have back in the 90s. Remember that?
So it's not that they don't have differences of opinion, and that's good because, you know, we need that kind of debate because that gets us usually...
No, but they're not throwing bricks at each other, and that's good. They're acting like adults, and...
And we've had, you know, the mayor's office used to fight against the council. Now I think, well, it's not that there hasn't been a couple of rough around the edges incidents, but by and large, I think there's a good respect for each other right now between those two, and that's going to move our community forward.
Is business moving in or out of Fresno, in your opinion?
I don't know. I'm not sure I can identify it as in and out. I can tell you that businesses are moving out. There are a lot of businesses who are failing.
Why?
Because, well, they just can't hang on. You know, the economy is such, when you've got an 18% unemployment, that's a trickle-down effect. When there's a farmhand out in there, you can talk about whether they're making a lot of money or little money, but the reality is when they're out there and they have a paycheck in their hand, that money ripples into primarily Fresno. I mean, people will walk into this store who have a job, but won't walk into the store when they don't have a job. And so that's going to circulate the whole money throughout the community. So until we can really get a handle on our employment problem in this community, it's going to be tough. So we're losing a lot of businesses to that.
All right, Al, will you stick around? We got one more segment. We're going to do a little sales pitch here and then come back to you. We're talking to Al Smith, the president and CEO of the State of the City in terms of business, right here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. Back in a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the low-price leading brands reliable advice place. The Frigidaire Gallery Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. You with me? Right now, get huge savings on select Frigidaire Gallery appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months at the hometown low price think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Fall for me, MeTV. Fall for me, MeTV.
Exactly.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the low-price leading brands reliable advice place. The Frigidaire Gallery Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. You with me? Right now, get huge savings on select Frigidaire Gallery appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months at the hometown low-price think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
MeTV's real detectives don't need to go high-tech.
There might have been some sort of special tool required, you know what I mean?
They don't need smartphones.
We're in business. They're coming your way.
They don't need email.
I don't need a program to figure out why.
They don't need the internet.
You didn't really just pick my name out of the phone book.
It's in the yellow pages.
They solve crimes the old-fashioned way. Kojak, The Rockford Files. Weekdays on MeTV. Brought to you by Ventura TV.
Welcome back to Connect with Me. We're right here live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. We're 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. You can get a great deal, and today's special is a very interesting one. We're here with salesperson Dennis Patton to talk about this beautiful KitchenAid dishwasher. There's a special today just for the Connect with Me viewers, right?
Oh, definitely there is. But at first, I would like to show you this fine machine that we have. It is a smooth front. All the buttons are up on top, so it's easy access. So you can read what you're doing, so you don't have to bend over to look at the buttons.
All right. Is this thing energy efficient? That's what I want to know.
Definitely. It is energy efficient. It is actually up 30% higher than the standard energy efficient rules that the government has set.
Okay. Now, you know the problem I have? If I'm in the kitchen or the living room at my house, when the dishwasher is on, I have to crank the TV up. I can't hear it. What in terms of quietness, how is this machine?
Well, first of all, you need to buy one of these because they're really quiet, John. To the viewers, basically, you can actually sit there and have a glass of wine standing in front of the dishwasher having a normal conversation. They're not loud at all. They're very quiet now.
Give us a special look inside here. You got two racks, of course, like any dishwasher.
Yeah, we have two racks. We actually have direct wash on top and bottom. Also, too, this is a 15-place setting dishwasher. What that means to you, that 15 different people can get their dishes washed, which means a cup, a saucer, a salad dish, a main plate, and all the silverware for it.
Do I have to scrub them before I put them in?
No, you don't have to scrub them because this has a scrubber in the bottom that will actually scrub your pots and pans clean. And it even has a special one called Power Scrub on the back, which is a unit that actually shoots water from 36 jets individually that actually blows all the dirt away from your favorite casserole dish that's stuck with all the dried lasagna on it.
All right, Dennis, great sales pitch. Now, the price is what on this one here?
Price normally is $12.99. We're selling it for $9.99, but from noon till tomorrow for our special Connect to Me viewers, we're taking an additional $100 off. So it's only $8.99.
So out the door, $8.99 for this thing, for our Connect with Me viewers until noon tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
All right. And how does that compare to the other box stores around the valley?
Box stores, Lowe's sells it at $12.49. Sears and Best Buy is at $11.24.
Right. So that's like a $200-300 savings, if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely easy.
All right, Dennis Patton, good job. And we're going to look for this one here. It's a special, and it's good for our Connect with Me viewers until noon tomorrow. You're watching Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno on Comcast 187 and 43.6. We're back with more of our conversation with Al Smith in just a moment, so stay tuned.
Ventura TV Appliance. We're the low-price leading brands reliable advice place. The Whirlpool Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. Check this out. Right now, get huge savings on select Whirlpool appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
I'm asking you about a murder.
Solving MeTV mysteries requires a rumpled coat,
I'm gonna write that down.
a keen eye,
It's a terrific puzzle.
and
Oh, one more thing, sir. One more thing, sir. Just one more thing, sir. Just one more thing, sir. Just one more thing, please.
Columbo always has one more thing.
The time.
Sundays at 8, 7 Central on MeTV.
We'll all stay in touch.
Such a great mood today. It's Tuesday. It's Business Tuesday. It's one of my favorite topics. We're going to continue with Al Smith, the president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce here in Fresno. Al, I wanted to ask you, prior to that live commercial that we did, about internet businesses. Do you see in Fresno or the county the people starting their own business on the internet?
Yeah, you know, anytime you have a large unemployment percentage, you know, innovation starts taking place. I'm sitting around looking for a job, and I'm thinking, okay, what can I do? And now I've got the first time in my life, I've got more time on my hands to sort of experiment with this idea I've had forever and ever and ever. And since I don't have to rush down to an office or a workplace at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, whatever, you start experimenting. So we do see a lot of startup businesses, and the internet is a good place to start that. You know, there's a lot of
change the playing field a little bit. The internet.
Oh, I don't know if it just brings a different element in. I think, but what you're finding is fewer and fewer larger companies and more smaller individuals. And the Chamber of Commerce, for instance, 85% of its members have less than 20 employees. I mean, that you know. So it's a group of small people in our community that operate, but we don't have the advantage or the luxury of the big corporations here.
Quickly, tell me what the role of the chamber is in any city.
Well, the chamber, you know, basically the Chamber of Commerce in any community, and by the way, that is one of the best labels or best top of mind names in the world. I mean, if you go to Slovenia and you want to know something, you'll probably look for a Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
But basically, the Chamber is a trade organization for business. That's basically what we do. We try to work on the economic benefits of our community. We try to bring businesses together so that they can do business with each other. We advocate a lot. We're getting much more politically involved now. We're down at City Hall. We're down in the state capitol. We're over in Washington a lot now, spending time talking to elected officials. And, you know, one of the things is we want to make sure, we talked about the business-friendly elected officials. We want to make sure the people that are being elected. So we get into the political fray pretty good now.
Quickly now, we're running out of time here, but I want to talk about the city budget. Mayor came out, said it's almost like a state of emergency. The two head of the unions, the police and the fire chief, say, no, you're overreacting. So there's going to be this big clash, I guess. And, you know, what do? Do you lay off people? Do you cut services? That's a hard decision.
Well, we've made some very bad decisions. I mean, when you looked at there was a newspaper article about the county budget, which if you work 12 years, you get like 29 days when you lay everything. I mean, we didn't do this in the private sector. We never had this in broadcasting, and they don't have it here.
Right.
So we've been very, very friendly to our government workers. That day has got to stop, particularly when we have very limited funds. And I have to give Jackie Parks from the FPOA some credit. They could have dug their
Fresno
heels
Police Association.
Yeah. They could have dug their heels in, but earlier this week they said, hey, we will come back and we will reopen or look at reopening some of those contracts. Because the reality is, sooner or later, if they don't reopen those contracts, we're going to be laying off more and more policemen. And when that happens, we're just not going to fill positions. And when that happens, we're going to have less people on the street. And right now, crime in our community is a huge issue. Whether it's business or personal, people are scared. We interview candidates every day for this new election, and they are frightened.
I wish I had more time. I wish I had an hour with you. You're a great guest. Would you come back?
I will come back.
I've got like 10 seconds to get out of here.
Okay.
It's a hard network out. So Al Smith,
My
head
pleasure.
of the chamber, I appreciate it. Come back again, please. That's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow with Larry Powell. Good day.